Hello, my name is Samantha Delgado, and this week we were told to do a demonstrative or how-to video on something that we frequently do. I've chosen something that is part of my job here on our farm, which is selling eggs. With selling eggs, I need to be okay with the consistency of my eggs and make sure that there is zero development since we have so many roosters. With that becomes candling eggs. So I have my handy dandy flashlight here, which is way too strong, but for typically candling eggs, you want to do it in a dark environment. For the sake of the video, I will be doing it in the light with a high setting on my candle. The reason I will have a high setting on is so that you can actually see through the egg, but you still won't get the same view as you would in a dark setting. For the sake of the video, I need to have the light on so that you can see my face, but also so you can actually see what I am doing. It is important to know exactly what you are doing, not just a random light showing up in the middle of a dark closet. But with that, I will now begin to show you the difference in the weeks of eggs. To start, I have one from the one day, because it is just popped out this morning, but this clear spot right here is too bright, but this clear spot right here is your whites of your egg, and then this darker spot up here is where the yolk will sit as a yellow or an orange. The next egg I will show is one that is kind of far into growth, but not as. And you will see it may seem like a normal egg with a little bit darker spot at the top, but when you turn it around, you can actually see the growth in there. And that is from the yolk shifting from the top down to the side. This will show the baby sitting like this as it grows, and it can be rotated a little without being disturbed. But there is a little air pocket you can see at the bottom, and that's under every egg, but specifically ones that are over a day old is when they will start with that, if there's a rooster involved. Now, this last one I will show is one that is quite far along but still has room to grow, and so it's a little lighter here. As you can see, it's a little struggle with the lighting, but you can see that darker spot here, and it is bigger on this egg rather than the last. But with the darker room, as you would typically want to do, you can see the veins and more specifics about the animal inside. So there is a how-to video, pretty simple process but it gets very drug out and annoying once you do it through like 50 eggs that you've missed the past 2 days. But that is a simple process that many farmers do to make sure that they don't scare off any possible customers with just itty-bitty things in the egg, because you can not only see the growth of a baby in the egg, but maybe one or two like just floating white spots that you might see even in a store-bought egg, but it's pretty rare. But just anything that might seem a little off with the egg, just to make sure you have the extra box ticked to make sure your customer comes back. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something new today.